everyone, and thanks for joining after the lunch break in this session about developing customer personas. I am Tamara Lucas from Convosphere, and I'm sharing the stage with Odoga Treviño from MAPFRE.
Hi, I'm Odoga from the social media research team at MAPFRE. MAPFRE is a global insurance company, is the largest Spanish-owned insurer in the world. Also the largest multinational insurance company in Latin America, and one of the largest 15 European groups in terms of premium volume. MAPFRE also operates under different brands such as Insure & Go in the US, or Berti, or Savia around the world.
So I'm from Convosphere, as I say. We are a social first market research agency. What does this mean? Is probably what you are asking. This means that our insights start with social data sets, but we add or combine with other data sets and methodologies to better answer our clients' business questions. I think this case study is the perfect example of this approach, but yeah, you will see it. Let's briefly start with the agenda of the session. So Odoga will go through the universal challenge that led to this approach, and the goals and hypotheses that we started with. After that, we will discuss the research solution and the personas that emerge with this approach. Finally, we will show you, how MAPFRE is applying the findings of this research in their, business, and also we will briefly talk about the key learnings from the research point of view.
In MAPFRE, we are committed to putting the customers in the center of the organization, and we don't just say it, but we show it. We require an agile solution that will capture the true voice of our customers in a timely and cost-effective manner. The key objective was creating a methodology that could be used in any area or department within the organization for understanding the clients or potential clients. We had a need in one of the MAPFRE business units. The Spanish team in the health insurance area wanted to understand the health insurance customer in Spain. While the main goal of the business unit was having deeper understanding of this, like health insurance, we also asked them to define the initial hypothesis. In other words, we wanted to know who they think their client was, and what they thought were the client beliefs and needs. And these are all the initial hypotheses we received from the Spanish life insurance department, classified based on if they were or not clients, and also classified based on the different stages on the customer journey. And for the sake of this presentation, we will focus on the digital service one, which is digital service such as video calls, chat with doctors are increasingly necessary. And in addition to the price, the user values these services a lot.
Okay, so yeah, we got all of this information, and as a social first research agency, we know that social media provided the speed and the cost-effective initial solution that MAPFRE needed based on the universal challenge. But furthermore, we needed to conduct this research in the middle of a pandemic, so meaning that the offline interaction with our audiences were not possible. So from the very first moment, we knew that social was going to be placed at the heart of the research mix. But I'm working with social data every day, and I know that social isn't conclusive 100% of the times. So we blended the social findings with other methodologies because they help us to validate, further prove, and deep dive into the customer's needs and attitudes. So basically, we will go through all the different stages of this methodology to show you how it works. So first of all, what we do is we validate, dismiss, or reformulate the initial hypothesis, all of that big list that Odoa has shared before, with social intelligence. We analyze around 10,000 results from January 2020 to January 2021, and we exclude everything is related to news, blogs, or even Twitter accounts from insurance agents, brands, and media accounts on Twitter. We perform a sentiment analysis on all of the brands in the market. But you know what happened with sentiment sometimes in social is that it's very led by customer care experiences. But we use it to get some of the pain points that people had. Finally, some of the key takeaways we got is the reason to have or not have health insurance is as a broader exploratory idea. And we identify a couple of segments that emerged in the social, which were families and future moms. Also, we were able to take a look to the different customer journey steps, and we found that the health insurance raises doubt mostly for those new clients in all of the stages. It's not just at the beginning, but through all of their journey with the insurance, they have questions if it's the first time they're using a health insurance. So after all of this exercise, we were able to move from hypothesis 0 to hypothesis 1. Following our, the initial example, the one for digital services, we found that while digital services were factors gaining importance in the decision of the customers, price and coverage were still the key factors in the decision making. Hence, digital services were seen as a plus, but price and coverage are more important. Beyond this, I forgot to mention before, some of the findings in the social intelligence exercise inform also the development of the questions to deep dive into the qualitative methodology, which is the next step. So basically, now we took all of these, new hypotheses where some of them were validated, some of them were not, and we need to deep dive on the customers. And we explore them using focus groups and mobile netnography. So in this stage, we aim to deep dive into the behaviors and attitudes, and also, as you can see here, I'm going to point in the slide. Some of the findings were also re-explored and validated via social media too. So let's move to the next stage.
So after the big social media research, we conducted some digital focus groups and a mobile ethnography within the key groups of the business interests, which were like people older and younger than 35 years old with or without health insurance. And we were able to receive feedback from participants and their unique behaviors when talking about like private health insurances. So we had 3 steps on this part, which were like the first focus group, then a mobile ethnography, and the last one is the second focus group. On the first focus group, the questions for discussion among the participants were knowing the opinion of the users about like health insurance in general, what they think the values of the insurance company were, and if they were identified with the values. And also we wanted to know if the language used by the insurance company was a barrier for having a health insurance. On the second phase, which was mobile netnography, the users were asked to carry out a series of tasks during 5 days. We separate the groups based on if they had or not a health insurance, but like some users had, all the users had some questions in common. And the last stage on this phase was the second focus group, whose objective was to collate and expand some of the responses made by the participants to bring up issues not covered in the first focus group, such as knowing the opinion of, we showed them some advertisement of different companies about like health insurance ads, and we wanted to know how they feel about them. And also, we wanted to deep dive into corporate responsibility in the health insurance companies, and also what they think about the health insurance for traveling abroad.
Okay, and with all of this information, we went again to social to confirm some of the new findings. I'm going to focus also in the telemedicine because, as you can see in the previous slide, I'm going to show you it again. Not all of the groups had the same interest in the telemedicine. So the ones with more than 35 years old and that they have intent to contract health insurance, they don't like the telemedicine as a value of the service. Those that has an health insurance, it's good, but they still prefer the face-to-face appointments and talk with people by phone, while the young segment were all about telemedicine. They like it, they want it, they expected to have that in their service. So when we go to social and we take a deep look to all the telemedicine conversation, what we found is that basically the young participants were more vocal on praising the telemedicine services from some of the companies, but also were the ones complaining about not having them or asking for more, digital services to their companies. So with all of this information, when going again to our example through this case study, we evolved this way the final hypothesis. So from the beginning, we say, the belief is the digital service are increasingly necessary for everyone, and in addition to the price, the customer values the service. With social listening, we found that in general, digital services are factors that are gaining importance among consumers, but having a health insurance is still a rational decision, so price and coverage are the priorities in the decision making. After the focus and deep dive on what are their behaviors, what they like, what they don't like, what they expect from a health insurance, we still saw that having a health insurance is a rational decision where price and coverage are key across all of the segments. But digital services are positive, demanded by the younger audiences, while the older group still prefer the face-to-face appointments. They were more conservative at this stage. So with all of this information, 6 personas emerged from blending the social intelligence, the focus group, and the ethnography. And this is all the process we took through to reach this point and to find these 6 personas. So 4 of them, the first 4, emerged from the focus group and the mobile ethnography. They are based on the group age and if they have or not have a health insurance. However, the last 2 were found during the initial social listening exercise. And they too were families where they were pretty much active on forums where our fathers or mothers look for information to provide a better, attention to all of the family as a whole, and also the future moms or the pregnant ladies, which they were pretty active on Twitter, like, future mom hashtag and things like that. And they like to know the experience of other moms, recent moms, other future moms, and they really trust what others, females in this case, in the same situation as them, are going through and their experiences with the health insurances. For all of them, we were able to provide the motivations, the top of mind brands, and the key points of information. And for the key points of information, women who they trust in order to gather information for making a decision. So, for example, well, I already talked about the moms, but families and those younger than 35 years old with a health insurance, they really trust what their other family members or other families said, while those older than 35 years old, having or not having a health insurance, and those younger than 35 years old without a health insurance, they trust more, peer-to-peer opinions or even doing their own research online. And also for each persona, as you can see, the slide is in Spanish, but it's really easy to understand. We were able to provide the drivers and barriers of each of them in order to have or use a health insurance, plus also their opinions around some specific campaigns that were running at that time in Spain. And I think that was really helpful for the communication department, and we will show you that really soon. So now the question is, so what, right? So what has MAPFRE done with all of this information? And yeah, although I think you can explain that.
This research has fed into different departments of MAPFRE. From my team, which is the social media research department, we have helped the health insurance unit to start conversation with different areas to improve and make the health insurance even more relevant for the customers, such as the communication department in Spain that is now working on deploy targeted messages for each persona type across the different communication touchpoints, which is personalized communication for each group. Or for example, the UX area, who's working on adding new features on the apps, on the health insurance app, such as the customers are now going to be able to rate the doctors or the hospital they go. So they can also check what are the opinions of other users. Also, on the product development department, they are improving telemedicine services. And now with all this research and all this information, the life insurance client team has now asked us to start a new study, which is around families, like how are families, what are their needs around like insurance, or what are their needs in general, like get to know more what are the family needs in Spain.
And from the research point of view, we can just say that it's a win-win. So basically the combination of these different qualitative techniques has helped a lot to deliver a more holistic deeper view of the customer to our client. So just to give you one example, so if you remember from the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that we take a look to the sentiment analysis. So the sentiment analysis in social has their problems, but when we were able to deep dive in the consumers' opinions, what are the top of mind brands, what their values they think, what they like about them, what they dislike about them. We were able to identify the brand perception and the awareness about all of the brands in Spain beyond the customer care problems that we can see on social media. So yeah, as a social first research agency, I can say that we overcome some of the limits of an only social media research project using these blending methodologies. And well, that's all. Thank you so much. Yeah, please share any questions.
Thank you very much indeed for that, thought-inspiring presentation there with that blend of methodologies, which I thought was fascinating. Tamara, Oliver, Adoga, and Eva, welcome. It's great to see you all on this question and answer. I would like to encourage everybody on the audience, please, to start getting your comments in with the questions that you've got for team here. So we've got plenty of people to help answer that. But just to get going, perhaps I can start with a question. So how much time does this project take? And how much budget would you calculate that you've actually saved using this approach versus a different kind of approach?
It depends on the size and scope of the project, but like for this particular one, it was like a 3 months project to know like how is the insurance, health insurance working, and how is the people interested in it in Spain. And we have calculated that with this new and personalized methodology, we have saved around like 18-20% compared with a more like traditional method.
Brilliant.
So it's a win.
Absolutely, a real win-win. And I'm also wondering as well, do you think this is the kind of project that you need to refresh or kind of dip in, or is it kind of like a one and done? How do you see that?
Right now we're working on like getting the insights into practice. So now like every team is working on put this information into practice, into actions. And of course we will like do some like checkup points to see how is the project working, and if anything has changed within this type of audiences, to like keep adapting our products with like real-time information, because this is basically what we have.
Lovely, thank you very much. And now a bit more of a technical question here. What is the tool stack that you use in this project? And you mentioned that you're a social first research agency. Could you talk about the team that are involved within that?
I think I can jump on this one, Ollie, but please feel free to chip in if you think I miss anything. So in terms of technology, we combine a social intelligence tool called Walker with an audience tool called Audience. Then we use social ads for the recruitment, and for all of the focus and mobile ethnography, we use Zoom as the digital platform for the focus, and Indimo for deep in the customer journey and mobile ethnography. And in terms of team, so we have a multidisciplinary team working on this. So we have the social intelligence expert of our team, myself and Alba, which is working for me with me here in Spain. Oli as part of the head of insights. We have Eva and Odoga as the business experts, because they know everything about insurance that you need to know. But also we have product experts, because the health insurance product department also was involved from the beginning in all of the steps of the projects, and for all of the qualitative parts, so for running the focus groups and the Indimo mobile ethnography, we can with Maria Jose, which is a partner here, that is expert in qualitative methodology. So yeah, a mix of a bit of everything.
Thank you. And you've reminded me actually of a wonderful quote by Professor Hugh Wilson, who once said to me, "Suppliers never deliver ROI, Fiona. It's always co-created."
Yes.
And I would love to hear how this team has kind of co-created to generate a great partnership, because it's fantastic to see 5 of you on here.
Yeah.
And maybe you could just talk a little bit about how have you created this partnership together?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do. So I think from MAPFRE and Eva or Doga, please chip in if you want to add something. They want to get involved on all of the research. So basically, we just work as a team. We have calls, I think, for this project every week or even twice a week, just to talk how things are going. They were involved in all of the process from the beginning, and I think having this these short period touches in all of the project stages help us to deliver a better project, because we were gaining insights and questions that arise in the middle, and we were able to twice to go again to social, or even to include a new question in the focus group, just to find all of the answers that they need.
I'd just add, I think, to that the stakeholders felt like stakeholders all the way through the process, and that was key. So the actual people who formulated the original hypotheses, who set the brief in the first place, got regular feedback and could ask regular questions, like Tammy said, all the while. So they were invested in it. And it wasn't just a case of handing over to the research or the insights department and waiting a few months for the results to come back. It was a very organic process, which meant that everything was answered in the end. I mean, you saw the large range of hypotheses that we were able to sort of dig into and answer. And that was just the initial point. So like Tammy said, it emerged, and we were able to provide very quickly short and sharp answers to some of the questions, but also incorporate some of the other more sort of elongated ones into the final debrief.
Thank you. Any other thoughts from the MAPFRE team?
Yeah, as they say, like we were like in contact, like 100%, like communicated with every part of each team, so we could like gain, because we were like especially in contact with the health insurance department, because they know more about the product. We know about like methodology, and but we need them to like keep improving the project, like keep adding. They know like this feature, we need to investigate more about this, and the market says this, but we found this in social media. So we had like an ongoing conversation and ongoing working project to upgrade it every time.
Brilliant, thank you. Eva, anything else that you want to add, or I'm going to go on to another question, but do add please if you've got something.
I think they explained very clear how we work together, and I think they are our implant. We merge. We are at different teams, and we merge all the conocimientos. I mean, all the knowing. And I think
Brilliant.
this is the how the presentation show that is a great job that we go make together.
Absolutely, and I think that comes across really strongly. Just maybe time for one more question before we go. And I'd love to ask about the stakeholders. So I could see lots of stakeholders that were kind of listed, the communications, there was the UX and CX, the product development, the research. Where do you think has perhaps been the biggest impact so far? Obviously, you'll be rolling this out, but have you seen any particular areas that have been gaining traction?
For our side, I think like we have impacted a lot into the UX experience, because it's the first time, I guess, in MAPFRE that we get information from customers of like not only MAPFRE customers, but like customers of the health insurance that tell us what they want. And we were able to like gather all the information, put it like in a project, and give them the insights of this is needed. The customers need this point, and this point, and they were able to implement it in the UX experience. I was talking in the presentation about the app. They are adapting the app, because when you book, you wanna go to have lunch, you always go to like Google to check opinions on a restaurant. So that's exactly what they wanted for us to do regarding to doctors, hospitals, clinics. And we were able to give them what they wanted us to give them. And also, we have impacted the communication team in Spain, because they have created a more personalized communications for each persona. So we talk like the emails, the different posts on social media, different posts on the web are adapted and personalized to those persona type. We talk to the moms the way the moms talk. So we kind of we want us to feel like we are part of their community.
Brilliant. Well, we've run out of time now, I'm afraid, on this one. But Tamara, Oliver, Eva, and Adogo, thank you so much for coming onto this Q&A and sharing these insights with us and showing a fantastic partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure.